All right, guys, welcome into a special Memorial Day edition of the Daytona Motor Mouths. I'm Ryan Pritt. That is Ken Willis wearing his golf pole over there. Looking good today, Ken. How you feeling?
This is from the Jim Nance collection, believe it or not. Hello, friends.
Where do you buy those at? Is that a special online only deal?
I uh, I'm not going to say actually.
Okay.
I don't want some people to think less of me, and some will think more of me unnecessarily. So I don't want to. I don't want to say.
Sorry to disappoint all you folks, but the Jim Nance collection is an invite only, it seems like. So now that we've clarified that, Ken, I was so looking forward all week to getting here and being like, hey, golf, Indy, F1, NASCAR, what was the best of Sunday? And then we get here, and I don't really think there's much of a decision to be made. It's pretty easy on you this week.
No. I mean, the golf was about as exciting as the F1 race at Monaco. Somebody took the lead, kept the lead. Nobody threatened. NASCAR got an incomplete grade, but at least at least you had a guy that was sort of a deserving winner. I mean, although Christopher Bell this year hadn't done a whole lot,
right.
But Indy, like it did for many generations, Indy was the star of the day, and it's been quite a rebound for that race over the last half decade to decade. Well, I guess we'll talk a little bit more about that as we go on, but yeah, that last lap and a quarter, I guess, when Award passed Newgarden, and then Newgarden passed him right back. I mean, it was quite a thing. And it's so fascinating because those cars are just so lightning quick. It takes your breath away.
And really, the last 20 to 30 laps, Scott Dixon was up there, and you had some, three or four guys that were just trading the lead almost every lap. It really was, I mean, the spectacle of Indy is awesome, but as it is for a lot of, it kind of reminded me of a Daytona 500 or Talladega type thing, where for the first three quarters of the race, it's just all about positioning.
Yeah.
And then the last quarter, man, those guys went at it. And like you said, man, the last 30, 40 laps, I was edging my seat over here. But needless to say, the rest of the day did not really match that. So I want to start here with you. I've heard and seen a lot of NASCAR fans upset on Twitter and everywhere else about that race being called off last night, and seen some suggestions. Should we go to 3/4 of the race to call it complete? Should we make it mandatory that crown jewel races have to be raced 100%? Just, I feel bad for NASCAR. It's kind of a no-win situation last night, but what are your thoughts? Should there be changes made here, or was this just one of those things where it was a little unfortunate and everyone got unlucky last night?
Yes, that's it. I mean, as soon as I saw, I just do my own amateur meteorology, and I could kind of see how fast that cell was going to move through. And then I looked at the wind, which wasn't much, and then I looked at the humidity, which was much, and that's what hurts tremendously. If you can get some wind and low humidity, you can get that thing dried in a hurry. But they were going to be wee-weeing uphill for quite a while, I think. So I think
I just found our episode title, by the way. But keep going.
Wee, said the Frenchman. So I think that unless they wanted to race till 2:00, and then then there would have been somebody would have found something to complain about then.
Yeah,
probably fewer people would have complained if they had finished the race. I just, the look on poor Kyle Larson's face afterwards when it was all over. He just, if a guy ever needed a hug, it was him. I mean, he was running damn good at Indy, and that that slip up entering the pits too fast doomed him. And then he had, on a cycle of green flag stops, he had the lead for 3 or 4 laps. I'm thinking, boy, if he can get a caution behind him, that he's going to have to pit. The others probably won't, but at least it'll get him. He'll probably finish better than he's going to, and which I believe he would have. But yeah, I mean, I think he did well enough to definitely warrant going back again. He just had those 2 little slip ups, and the last one was the one that really doomed him to 18th, where he was easily going to finish top 10. It looked like.
Yeah, you had to feel for him, man. And I was actually going to lead a column out today talking about, if you think you're brokenhearted as a fan, try being Kyle Larson last night, because, I mean, to hustle out of Indy on a helicopter, on a plane. Not only that, but I don't know if you saw when he landed in Charlotte, he was basically sprinting across pit road to get to the car, all to get there and have it rained out. And, he put out a tweet, I don't know if it was last night or this morning, just about kind of how heartbreaking the whole process was. And Yeah, I mean, you touched on it. He was definitely doing a respectable job at Indy and pushed it a little too hard on pit road. And I know he felt awful about that, but I mean, it's hard to remember maybe a more heartbreaking day for a race car driver than Kyle Larson had yesterday, isn't it?
Well, maybe Pato Award, who finished second at Indy, and he's had he's had a few chances to win that thing, and he's so good with such a good team. And you saw him afterwards. That tells you, I mean, it tells you what that race means to these guys. I mean, he just had his head down on his roll bar before he got out of his car. He was just so devastated. And it is funny, they talk about it, and it's true when that race, when they're there for so much of the month of May, it starts with the road course race. And then that leads right into the next week of practice, qualifying, more practice, and then the race weekend. I mean, it does take on, I mean, it almost becomes a living thing, that each Indy 500. And those guys spend so much time there, and they're on the track so much getting ready for that race. And, to come, I don't know who to feel worse for. Pato, who was that close again to winning it, and you saw the heartbreak, or the dude who won 2 years ago and probably should have won last year, Marcus Ericsson, who got taken out on the first lap after all that run up, all that build up. Very first lap, a IndyCar rookie, Tom Bloomquist, our friend from the Rolex 24, one of the best sports car racers in the world, trying to transition to IndyCar. Not so good so far. Yeah, he lost it down on the apron and spun up the track, and that's when Marcus hit him. So all that, and he gets taken out on the first lap, a guy who legitimately could have won the race. And then you had the guy that came so close. So it was a lot of heartache. It's a lot of heartache yesterday. And then Ryan Blaney at Charlotte, good Lord, he's in a mini slump, and he got taken out early. What did he finish? 40th out of 40, I think?
Yeah, somewhere back there. Him and Noah Gragson both. And, of course, Kyle Busch's pit stop. Hold on, I just got word they just committed another pit road penalty last night. So he was behind the eight ball, too. I do want to say, before we move on, the racing was what it was, but the pageantry that went around all three events, it was cool, for just a lap or two to watch Monaco and see that scene over there. You got the yachts over there. And, of course, Indy is what it is. And, I do think NASCAR deserves a tip of the cap, and Charlotte, too, for what they do with the Memorial Day stuff, the stopping on pit road after stage 2 and, recognizing and honoring our troops today, which it is Memorial Day, and we obviously want to echo those sentiments here too. So that part of it was pretty cool, but Mother Nature wins again. We've seen it more than once here. All you got to do is go back to February, right? We had a little bit of that as well down here.
She is so moody sometimes.
She is.
So, and today she's heated up.
Yeah. You off of here. Grilling burgers over 95-degree day is going to be really fun here in a bit. But anyway, we'll move on. And that's the good thing about the NASCAR schedule. It seems like every week there's a new race and a new storyline. So we're going to head to Gateway this week, where Joey Logano and Kyle Busch each have a win. We've run 2 Cup races there. They've each finished in the top 5 twice. Are they topping your pre-race favorite board right now, or who do you have?
I got to look at the current trends above the 2 guys who won the last 2 races there. The only 2 Cup races there. You know who won a Busch Series race there in 2010? Brad Keselowski.
Uh-oh.
Well, yeah. And you know who won 2 ARCA races there? Ty Gibbs.
Ty Gibbs. So which one of those 2 fine gentlemen are you picking?
Maybe it's Tiny Ty time, finally.
I mean, thought it was coming. Go ahead.
Once a month here, I pick him to finally get that win. So I'm gonna go ahead and use up my monthly allotment of Ty Gibbs, and I'm gonna go with him.
I thought this was the week for him, man. Coke 600's been a place historically that's welcomed first-time winners. He had obviously a ton of speed in practice, got the pole. I thought this was it, but still came home 6th. He's 10th in points right now. Really a good year, despite the fact that he hasn't. And actually, he's higher than that in points, but he's got some guys in front of him locked in via win. So Good year for him. I like the Brad pick, although I'm not sure I like the track shape for him. Man, he is fast right now, and I think he had the best race car last night. That race goes another 10, 15 laps. I think we're having a completely different discussion today, which, by the way, have we even mentioned that Christopher Bell won the race yesterday?
I think I vaguely mentioned a slightly deserving winner, although he hasn't had a great year. Yes.
Next thing we know, he's going to be emailing us talking about, being off the radar and how he So we do want to say congrats to Christopher Bell, his second win of the year. 67-point night. That's never a bad thing, right? That'll do some wonders for your standings.
Yep.
So we'll see if he could keep that momentum rolling, and we'll see if Brad can. We'll see if Ken's right, and it's finally Ty Gibbs's time next week. But
it's gonna happen. It's got to
it is
happen.
going to happen. Yeah, it's going to happen. But we'll see if it's at Gateway.
But you know what else? You know what else? Might rain.
Well, there's something for you guys to look forward to. Until then, I'm Ryan Pritt. That's Ken Willis. Happy Memorial Day, everyone. And we will see, hopefully, after a dry weekend in Illinois, right? Is it Illinois?
Barely. Right
Barely.
across the river, yeah.
There you go. See you later, guys.